Jai Sri Krishna. And yesterday I attended a webinar of teachers as counselors, and there was Miss Fatima Rashid and Miss Snigdha Roy, who received the Best Teacher Award, and Miss Fatima Rashid, the clinical psychologist. And the webinar was hosted by Aarati, Savur, the CEO of Parisar, Asha. Now, here I have got a gist of what I heard, and I thought it would be nice to share it with you. Teachers' roles is of mentors today. Earlier, teachers would teach only geography, history, or arithmetic, or whatever. But today, they are looked upon as mentors, both parents work, so they also relegate mentorship to teachers. And both should impart right values to children. It is sad, in my mind, that is not really happening. Maybe mothers are very busy with their job at home and out, and teachers have got to be sensitive to be able to be a mentor. But then, of course, this is my point of view. Now, what is the role of a counselor? And they said it's to listen, to observe, but eventually the child should reach solutions on his own, because that is the way it should be, long-term solution. A counselor helps to accept. Sometimes there is grief in the family, there is loss at that young age of a parent. So it is the work of a teacher as a counselor to help to accept and move along. Also, don't be so, in the olden days it was shout at the children, but today I think the idea, according to the counselors, was to encourage. Like, even when they fail, you tell them good work, and the students say, but I failed. He said, yes, but you have doubled your marks. Or when a child has a new sibling, then the teacher maybe could say, you must be the best brother or best sister ever. And then one of the teachers or counselors shared something which was very touching. There was a parent who came complaining to her that this child never listens to me and please do something. And then the teacher said that it was some poem that he wrote, which she said, I don't remember the exact words, but it went something like this, written by the child. And he wrote, sometimes I say the harshest word. I don't mean I think. I love you, Mum. Keep me under your wing. Now, this is what a child feels, and maybe he can't help himself sometimes speaking harsh words. So it is for the teacher to have drawn this out from the student. And then another thing that they mentioned, which I thought was very interesting, is that there is a difference between academics and education. Now, what is the difference? Academics is, of course, passing and doing, academically very brilliantly. But what about educating yourself with life, with the hurdles that life brings? Also, they spoke about coming from a lower income group. How do you teach them? Because their ways of thinking sometimes are a little different. They have maybe been given different values, but teachers, what they mentioned here, which I thought was interesting, was that teachers must not label them. And label them means, in the sense, they don't say, oh, you are not thinking right, you are unintelligent, you are not bright, or whatever it is. Don't give them a label. Because I don't know if you've heard about labeling people, but if you label them, and this is my view, if you label them, then they tend to live up to that value. So definitely no negative labels to children. And of course, they said that it is sometimes hard to look at 50 children at a time. So they said observe 2 at a time. A lot depends on the philosophy of a school, and because school is an extension of home. And he says it's a good idea to maintain a diary about kids. And then they spoke about children with special needs, of course, inclusive schools. And then the teacher said, accept each child as a child. Focus on what they can do so that whatever they can do, they should do better. And of course, there should be different benchmarks for these children. Then again, they spoke about most important are classmates. And then they said that, in fact, classmates are rather kind to these children with special needs. They spoke about empowering the mother because naturally the child spends so much time with the mother. And then one question which was asked, which I thought was interesting, was what about when sometimes teachers lose their cool? And what would they advise teachers? And I think here I'm not sure what they meant, but I think again they meant it for the child, but I suppose it applies to the teachers too, that any misbehavior is a cry for help. Just like fever is a cry for help. When the body has fever, it is trying to tell you that something is wrong with them. And then they said children, if they get positive attention, if they don't get positive attention, then they start looking for negative attention. So these are things that one has to look for in the case of a child. And of course, this is a subject for a lifetime. But in my mind, the way I look at it is being sensitive, compassionate, intelligent, and also for a teacher, she needs to read up on different techniques in getting herself more educated, more compassionate. And then I think maybe the answer to what a teacher should do when she loses her cool, maybe the answer would be that how they say in the plane when you get on, that first fasten your seat belts and then look after the partner sitting next to you. And also I have heard of the saying, physician, heal thyself. So it's very important, but I was very pleased with the compassion and the intelligence and the brightness of the teachers and the sensitive way they are obviously treating children. So this is the gist of what I heard yesterday. I hope it has been constructive in some way or another with the way you deal with children, because it's not only teachers. We as parents or grandparents also, in fact, play a very, very big role, and I thought I would share it with you. So until next time, you take care and God bless.